Africa's Grand Derby, Durban July on Fair Fashion. Welcome to Forever Chic, and today we're doing coverage of what went down this past weekend in Durban at Greyville Race Course. It's always all about the beauty, the fabulousness. I mean, everybody convenes who's anybody. We're talking about fashion designers, celebrities, your influencers, and a lot of people who are generally infatuated by what Durban represents in July. It represents sun. It's the only place that's really warm in South Africa because it is winter. There's lots of lifestyle shows and people are in for the fun, But I love Red by David Lale. This year, this was one of the highlights, and building up towards this entire thing. You heard everything about SA fashion designer David Lale doing a collaboration with Vodacom, and this obviously is based on Vodacom's colors being red and them being the overall sponsors of the Durban July. So it came out really chic and all the way on top for runway or like your avant-garde style. I feel it was a little bit over the top in that it didn't really resonate with the social settings of Durban July, which I would have loved to see more of. But otherwise, the theme was on point. Everybody came out looking ravishing. And if we're going to talk about the obvious faces that are always there, it's not going to sound too cool. It's just going to sound like broken record. But Dineo Ranaka, she happens to be one of my favorites. She had this whole Zulu maiden attire, warrior girl, and she had this body art. I can't say it's body art, but she painted her body in gold and was wearing what we call makabe in Setswana. And it looked really creative. For me, I love an artist or a creator or a celebrity stepping out of it and doing their own thing. So I found that really cool. But let's talk about the fact that there are two faces of Vodacom Challenge. One crew owns the horses and they rake in the millions. These are the thoroughbred owners. They own horses and this is their game. This is what they do. This is a huge culture that's happened for years all over the world. We know horse racing derbies are for the very wealthy people. We know this. And there's now the other side of this culture that people make a lot of money and others are doing completely different things. And this is what I wanted to focus my attention on. What is wrong with Durban July when people come, and I'm talking about our folks, black folks. They come there with these fancy cars, over the top, trying to impress the most. And I suppose this is a cultural myth associated obviously with that it is the fittest to survive. You have to be one of the strong, and this represents one of the strong. Like, we are strong, we're survivors, we're killing it because we're driving fancy cars and it is what it is, But I feel like it's too crass, it's irrelevant, and in a country where really you have so many people who are in poverty, possibly even family members, this is outrageous. You just don't do it. And I feel like a brand such as Touchdown to organize such a convoy is so silly and so basic. They could have done a lot better. It's just like the receipts that we've seen. It looks pretty much like people have lost the soul or the sense of themselves, and spending over 200,000 is just as bad as wearing this dress like Zodwa Bantu, who was. I suppose Zodwa is doing what she does, and that's part of her brand. That's all good. I just don't think you wear this when you go to a horse racing event. It's just too much. It's too bearing all. I know it's in, but it just leaves a bad taste. So I see that J-Lo and Zodwa are basically in the same WhatsApp group. Okay, she wore this at the Billboard Awards in 2017, and it is what it is. But everybody else, y'all look fabulous, and thank you so much.